Greetings in the divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, King Alpha, and I Divine Mother Empress Menen, and I the children of Jah Rastafari, representing for the Ankh Nation family. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be accepted by thy sight, O Jah. Greetings, ones and ones. Once again, give thanks for lending ear, so I can articulate Rastafari. Now, this word song are still in relation to the good book here, and I revisit things that was taught and I look upon them through different lenses. The Genesis story, the Hebrew Israelites, and I already postulate said a story there representing Genesis, a white people, northern aggressive recessive people in the Asiatic, Afro-Asiatic space. I point out Noah and show yourself in a Genesis 8 to 9, them land on Mount Ararat, the ark, the boat, they mention say, I'm seeing Noah nakedness and Noah curse. Canaan, which is his grandson. To me, I that no make no sense. I look upon it and I show ones and ones say, this is not about all of that are just a story, but within that story there, it will show you the genesis of them conquest, them slow progress, I call it infiltrate, and them take them time identifying Canaan, because there's no way I can say a grandfather are supposed to be 8 or 9 people left on the planet after the flood, and a grandfather curse his grandson to slavery. Where does the concept of slavery exist within a family? It don't make no sense. But it makes sense to I when I pray it as them a come out of the Caucasus Mountain, aka in the Bible Mount Ararat. And we don't identify as a Mount Ararat at present day in the Caucasus region, Turkey, Iran, Armenia, Georgia, within the region there. Now, we identify say Noah is the one who identify Canaan for conquest. Then we move from Noah and we go to Abraham. And I show a certain pattern. Or let's say Abraham established certain principle for govern and protect them. Identify say him come from Ur of the Chaldees, him go to Aran. Aran is presently Turkey. Again, see that right up in the Caucasus region there again. Out of Aran, him God promised him Canaan, and him going to Canaan. Then him went off into Egypt because of famine, and in a famine him display certain despicable or deviant behavior pattern in a modern day time. When we identify say him and Sarah represent proto-pimping and prostitution when them deceive the Pharaoh and them gather wealth from it. Moving right along, and we show you say one question: how Abraham knows say the Pharaoh them would have kill him for him wife, and two, if Sarah or Sarai wasn't stand out in herself in the sense of whiteness, because it mentioned that say as soon as them enter in Egypt, the Egyptians them kill him for Sarah. So there must be something about Sarah what makes she stand out and make them stand out where the Egyptians them gonna look on them. And therefore Egypt is a black land. That means a whiteness would have definitely stand out. Entering into Egypt would have make, and that would have made the people them want to report to the Pharaoh about this strange site. Because there would have to be a strange site within black spaces. Anyway, them get the concept. And how him know say these deviant activities, deception that him gonna get reward for it, because it shows say the fear and wicked, and the fear of bless him and bless them and run them out of in place. And out of that, no, I mean, him a wander within Canaan or between Egypt and Canaan. And because them white people in a black space, him develop a separatist ideology. That's why he declare say none of him people must interbred with the Canaanites. So that is the separatist ideology, which may already identify that carry over in our present day. I and I experience now within the diaspora as racism, European racism. I and I also pointed out that Abraham himself and Sarah, and I identify them, like I say, as white. And now them a continue the slow process a conquest dictated by Noah. So Abraham carry out a Noah. Interbreeding now, them utilize interbreeding. Because you see Abraham and Sarah, brother and sister. And then him send back to Haran. For Rebecca, that indicator them whiteness again. Rebecca has been white in our Genesis. And I said Genesis that we are in. Abraham make him serve and pledge to him, say him not to take a Canaanite woman for Isaac. And the servant go back to Abraham kindred them that when I say in Haran. Even though it point out say Laban later on was identified as a Syrian. So like I say again, this a point out the year Haran, which is a Turk, may identify the year with Laban in Assyria and Abraham brother Nahor in Haran. So between Turkey and Syria, and Abraham himself in a Canaan, and them take them time and spread out, or in the Levant as the scholars them call it. Why interbreeding? Like I mentioned again, say interbreeding protect them whiteness. Because once them interbreed with them amongst themselves, they won't get absorbed by the black population. And Abraham must have identified this. This is a speculative reasoning, you know. Must have identified from the time of Noah all the way through to the time of Abraham. And them are spread out from Mesopotamia or the nearest, them are spread out from the nearest, all in the nearest all the way to Canaan and come into Africa. But like I already identify, say, by them identifying Nimrod the mighty hunter. It shows in Mesopotamia at the time. Mesopotamia was too strong. The black people them were very dominant in that space. So them couldn't readily conquer it. But Canaan now, which is the Middle East, them identify and carrying through. Now we move from this. So I mentioned about Jacob, I mentioned about Isaac carrying on the seed. Basically, I do the same thing in father do. Brother and sisters coming, continuing the legacy of Abraham, and it pass on to Jacob because them bypass Esau because Esau too much of an integrationist, and I highlight. Why am I say that? Too much of an integrationist highlight say assimilate to the people in the land and therefore end up marrying the Hittite woman, the two Hittite women them, and also Ishmaelite. This is why them couldn't afford to make him get. Even though them tell them look the crap story about porridge and starving and all of that. All of that no make no sense. But in terms of leadership and continuous and the mission with them depend, them would have to have somebody we are maintain and keep the right order, dedicated to the mission. And Esau, Rebecca identifies him not dedicated to such a program. Jacob to continue the mission of conquest. Jacob now take away him brother blessing and birthright via his mother with the help of his mother. And now him have to run where go Laban the Syrian. I am uncle and him uncle. Basically, them a try outsmart each other. The cunning and the shrewdness of Jacob it even to the point now where him identify a principle Where again, me I show racist tendencies, and them identify a principle. It was identified by this in the 17th by a brother named Francis Galton. And the principle, when I talk about the principle of eugenics, where Jacob displayed that, using that against his uncle with the speckled sheep, them and goats and all these things. So Jacob know him, and in the said process now, you see where him, Simeon and Levi murder off the, the Hivites in a Canaan, their tribe in a Canaan, and because the violation of Dinah, and Jacob gets scared because of that action and can potentially derail the slow program of conquest. Because Abraham already laid the groundwork base operation, like I say, with them 318 warriors, and early out, I repeat, so I recap 318 warriors showing him independent and strength when him refuse to partake in the plunder when him go rescue Lot with Melchizedek. So now Jacob I continue with this legacy now. So now him now, Dinah, back to the violation of Dinah, and Simeon and Levi trick the Hivites them, or the father was Omer and the son was Shechem, and them trick them making a deal about the violation, and then them turn around and betray, go against them word and murder of the Hivites them. And like I said, Jacob now question them on them action, and them declare say if Jacob want them to allow the violation of them sister. And from that now Jacob, you see where Jacob lift up identity change, and right after that now it becomes Israel, and him take on the name Israel, new identity, because obviously the word that go out in the land, but the Hebrew people them. And as I say, outside of the Bible, you can't find the word Hebrew, but historically and in the Egyptian literatures, you find the term a group of people within the Canaan and the Levant here named the Abiru or Apiru. So anyway, Jacob take on the name Israel, and now look into the word Israel. I come up with the Egyptian goddess Isis and the god Ra and the Canaanite god El, and then put that together and them call it Israel. That is just something I take note of. And you're not gonna know this unless you're when you're into learning, knowledge, you discover these things. And so I discover these things along the way. Canaanite gods El and Yahweh too. Different tribal gods. Now let me not sidebar, I could continue. So Jacob now him change him name now, and him have a whole heap of kids continuing the progress, spread out in the land of Canaan. Cause you see them a take them time, I spread out, then they move right and along now to him have a whole heap of 12 sons, and out of the 12 sons him have Jacob. Joseph was the most favorable to Jacob, and they make him a pretty coat. And him bad mind brother them sell him the Ishmaelites, and the Ishmaelites them sell him to Potiphar in Egypt. And from there, me gonna call it the infiltration towards now power. Them are identifying now, because them done a spread out in the land already. So in order for them to have more power in the land, them turn around now and align themselves using Jacob now with the Egyptian, and Jacob now based on how them identify him. Him is a interpreter of dreams, so therefore he'll be valuable, very knowledgeable. And this make him rise up to be an advisor, second in command to the Pharaoh. And out of that now you see where him now, once him get power, him turn around and enslave the Egyptian them by them belly. And once again, famine again, because Abraham enter because of famine now. Jacob back into Egypt again now. With the family them through famine. And them end up in the land of Egypt once again. And Jacob give them choice land in a Goshen. While them a give them choice land, them a enslave the Egyptian them. So therefore a slave, now a enslave, like me already identify already. I'm moving right along now. From there, so it's obvious now them established in the lower Egypt. Historically, the Asiatics them were control the delta in Egypt them time there. For even Joseph can find common ground identity with them to show you say these are white, northern aggressive recessive people, white people. And I identify Sarah skin identify as being fear. Fear is equal to pale and white. And also Rebecca, fear to look upon. So once again, them identify, so I'm tell you, so them go out in Aran. And when you check out Aran are Turkey. And Turkey is Mount Ararat according to Noah. And that is within the Caucasus region. And historically, it's out of the Caucasus region, these northern aggressive recessive people trickle out and come down and are spread out. So you have some of them where a wage war with Sumer, Mesopotamia, and them a destroy that and a conquer a wage war amongst themselves for power, for control. And out of this now, out of these northern aggressive recessive people, I hear about the Arcadians, the Hittites, the Mitannis, the Orions, the Gutians, all of these are different northern aggressive recessive people coming and a wage war and conquest in the Near East, going all the way over to the Arapan Valley, called India, over India, and a destroy and the Dravidian culture and the Arapan culture in the name of the Aryans. Them conquer India. But we not go far off. We keep it. Because we are sure you say these Hebrew Israelites, so-called Hebrew Israelites in the Bible, historically, they are the Hyksos, the shepherd kings are the foreign rulers in Egypt. And this them build them story offer. But nonetheless, beyond the story, it show you how them are matriculate into conquest. Slowly but surely I take over the Middle East or the Canaanites land. Now and it shows how Joseph enslaved the Egyptian them and take over. So like I mentioned again, slave now becomes the enslaver. And Joseph will go into Moses. And when I show you so how them are target the power structure now. Here it is now. We in Exodus now, we're in Moses him now. Come in, born. So now, when I look into it, it shows you say, once them get strong and powerful, them start enslave the Egyptian them. So now the Egyptian them start to rise up against them now. And this ends a new Pharaoh come sit up on the throne and him not know nothing about Joseph. But it's identifiable what them did I go on with. So him come to redeem this Pharaoh. And this now, this how we feed them story in the Bible, you know. But the real truth of the matter is that this are when the Thebans them now in the 18th dynasty. Now the 17th dynasty, historical, Senkeneritar, Kamos, Amos, and Amos are the one established them start wage war. Senkeneritar died on the battlefield fighting these same Exos people, yeah, the Asiatics them. Kamos died on the battlefield same way. And then you have Amos now come now slaughter and murder the Ixos them and run them up and them escape and go into the Sinai Peninsula. And that's now aware Moses now. Because even though it's a story in the Bible, it have historical base. And this is how Moses now, in the social evolution of them now. Here we go now where Moses now, them infiltrated Moses now from a baby state. And being from the baby state, him come in now and go and learn now. Him start learn now the secret. Because he was raised, as them say, he was planted where the Egyptian princess, it's in Exodus 2, where the Egyptian beard, them plant Moses in the reed basket there. So as you see him, and when you see discover him, the sister jump up and tell her so she can get the Hebrew nurse, which I'm seeing mother. Princess agree to it, so the princess operate at the Mayatic principle again. Now Moses now infiltration and seat of power now. Because Joseph was the first and now here them approach from a different angle now with Moses. How them getting at this position, you have to speculate based on Joseph. Them in Egypt and the power where Joseph accumulate and them assimilate within the power base of Egypt. And I saw Moses now. So once some of them probably still have served the Egyptian them, some of them probably have married the Egyptian them. But nonetheless, whichever way it go, we are sure you say now them attack the power base. Historically, it identify with the Hyksos them ruling Lower Egypt. So now Moses now raised as a both as a Hebrew and as an Egyptian. But for sure you say them programming and him now are maintain the same conquest because him get programmed through him parents them, through him mother. Because her mother end up being own wet nurse, so she get paid to take care of it via the Egyptian princess. And them continue along that line until in the story them point out say him see a Egyptian beat a Hebrew and him look around 2 times and take it personal and him murder the Egyptian. And the next day him forward in again now and him see 2 Hebrew argue and the most aggressive one and them say, yo, oh yeah. And the aggressor turn on and ask him say, who make him Lord and master over them. Talk to him and then him ask him say, oh, you want to kill me like how you kill the Egyptian? So right away Moses recognize the crime is noted. So him take for himself and run and end up in a Midian. Now you must always remember, you know, Moses is a prince. So a prince is one who has power, but yet still, so I can't say a prince of a runway. Unless the reason why I'm runway is because the law that governs the land, which is the Mayatic principle. And then one of the Mayatic principles is that I have not committed murder unjustly. So Moses broke the law and the law is unviable. You know, for violate the law and it no matter who you be, you will be punished. So this is why I'm runway. So I just want to highlight that look of fact there. For sure you say the Egyptian them are move off a high moral principle. And if you note so far with these Hebrew Israelites, them immoral. From Jacob with them uncle them, Rebecca with Jacob and Isaac, Abraham, the whole of them. If you watch how they move in the Bible, appear despicable nature. Them the immoral, so immoral lots them. But anyway, we can move right, continue with Moses. So Moses now, I mean I point out again, coming all the way back from Conquest. Let me show you say them intention, the story with them again in the Bible about cursing and Noah and Canaan and that are just the story. The real pattern is them come for conquer the Afro-Asiatic space. And Canaan is the middle ground to Africa. And Africa, they too strong at the time. And Africa represented by Kush, Misraim, Put, which is Libya. All of these places was too strong for them. And so them take them time, assimilate, and take on and infiltrate. And I saw them take them time and power up. So now we still are dealing with Moses. So Moses now I learn all the Egypt them same learning all the ways of the Egyptian. And him continue went about. Continue him work the mission of conquest. So then at the time when them in them story them claim said them God burning bush and send him go back because the Egyptian them a get the Hebrew them a get pressure in Egypt now with brick and straw and all of that and but all of that like me say again is a story. Now the Theban people I mentioned now start wage war with them now. And the war broke out between Thebe, Upper Egypt versus Lower Egypt, which at the time are ruled by the Asiatic Hyksos them. So them start now, I bring it to them, and Senkeneri, Ta, Kamos, and Amos eventually get rid of them. But they mass it in the biblical story now as Moses would feed them God, I come help them, deliver them from enslavement. But yet at the same time, when you check out the story in the Bible, you see say them plunder. Now Moses him, you can see say them in the land a scheme because when Moses and the burning bush and if you return, if you read in between the lines, just see where the elders them come meet them and them have a meeting. So them a conspire against the Egyptian, them and a strategize. And once you realize that they mention now how them go and them plunder in Exodus 12, you see what it mentions say when them a leave, when the plague and all of these things and them decide to leave, now the fear decide to let them go. This crap but the fear decide to let them go. And now them ask the Egyptian them and the Egyptian them a give them all of them gold and all kind of things. And then in it mentioned plunder. So therefore, anything a plunder, a warfare, a go on now, so them a lift up now. This Amos are coming now to destroy them. So them a take with themselves and them start to rob and loot the place. And then run go over in the Sinai Peninsula. Eventually them spread out in a Canaan. Once again coming to conquer Canaan now. So now them run away and them in a Canaan now. This is Moses now. And Moses start organize and centralize them now. So now Moses have the Yahweh principle, Yahweh ideology when we want to infuse in them. So I'm more wander around in the desert according to for them story. And them the old heads them dead off. And then the young ones them which represented by Joshua now. And them ready now for conquer Canaan. But the question of me want to know is that in the story, you see it mentioned, say Moses gone up in the hill, for him and God gonna have a conversation, and God give him the 10 commandments. And when him come back down, him see them a celebrate with the golden calf. They met the golden calf and a celebrate. The golden calf represent the Egyptian God Hathor, the mother goddess. So that's what the bull represents, the golden calf represents. So them come back now and start live what them learn. And living with them learn them and the Egyptian psychology. So when Moses come down now and him see where I go on now, whosoever dep on theme side, him call them up and them murder the one them with the Egyptian psychology. In order, principle there now, in order for the Yahweh principle take root, them have to get rid of the old way, which is the Egyptian psychology, and this is why Moses murdered them. And the golden calf question. If them a slave, how slave get so much gold? Can remember them say a brick and straw, you know. So how them get so much gold? To make a golden calf. Now, even in them sets to hear them talk about them have slaves. All slaves have slaves. So this is again, that's why I'm a point out, but historically, with the Hyksos them, this are the war between the Upper Egypt, the Thebans them versus the Asiatics them. And this is why them when them are leave, a plunder them plunder. This is why them accumulate so much money. Another point of it to know is that another question. When I and I watch the Moses story and going how them get weapons? Where them get weapons from if them are slave? Forget so much weapons to even eventually end up conquer Canaan, read Joshua, or even before Joshua, where Moses and him get so much weapons for murder, for slaughter out the genocide act now with the forget rid of the Hebrew, the Egyptian psychology. Where them get all of them weapons and them are slave. She said the stories are fallacy. I identify them as conquerors. And futuristic Noah point out Canaan for to be conquered. And from each generation them implement and them take them time. So no a Moses time now. A Moses now for give them rules and regulation now for govern them. And them take. Being that him was learning all the way of the Egyptian, him take out of the 42 Mayatic principles, him take 10 of it and implement it. But only thing the difference is now them not say I, them say thou. Because I is personal, though somebody have to tell you. So that means it's not natural. So if somebody keep reminding you and even punishing you for do the right, they might revert back to them barbaric nature. As you can see with Moses now and the rest of them going forward. Because them have this aggressive nature about them. So Moses now I give them rules and regulations to govern them. And even Moses himself, when Jethro ruled over the same father-in-law with when them going to Midian and them get Zipporah, him father-in-law come now and see him kill off himself now because him established, organized and centralized now in a Canaan now preparing for go conquer. But Moses knows say himself not going to be able to climb all. So the mission is up to Joshua now. And this is how Joshua come in now. And Joshua now take up where Moses left and start the conquering. With around the wall of Jericho and all of these things. Now them start the Perizzites and the Kenites and the Hivites and the Jebusites and them start a murder of the Canaanite people them. Cause them fully now power up now. Them start wage war against the Canaanites them and the different tribes. So this is where I show you say and I show you how these people it took them thousands of years, but slowly but surely them eventually conquer Canaan. And this a go back and forth war because historically now you have the resistors. Now I mentioned Amos were from the 18th dynasty when smashed them out. And then the war campaign continued with Amenhotep the third, 1390 to 1354. Once again, I smashed them out. You have Thutmose the third, same way, I smash them out. These are the same Asiatics them, you know. Now them start wage war. Now in a these time frame now, because them are encroach on the Egyptian them sovereignty and the vassalage in a Canaan. So the Egyptian them ride out now and them start slaughter them. And this from the 18th all the way to the 19th and the 20th dynasty, the war, the back and forth war for the Middle East. With the Hittites, them under the moniker, historically the Hittites, them, and then, like I said, the Mitannis, the Orions, these are different northern aggressive people. So now the Egyptian them start wage war against them now. Them call them the Asiatics collectively. So them a wage war upon them, but I identify with another aggressive people. And may I show you now. So you have Merneptah, where you the first time you hear about Israel historically, where you can have something for proof that they exist. But I question that. Because knowing all these people shrewd and dangerous, and I feel like them insert themselves in the Merneptah stele. Because when you see the position when them place them in the Merneptah stele, it's in the fourth column, upon the Merneptah stele, and it talk about how Merneptah I deal with the Philistines and them. And the Philistine them come back now. Where you hear about Goliath and the Israelites them a fight against the Philistine. Now this are how them insert themselves now for give themselves legitimacy. Because I question the Merneptah story. Because I know them people, especially when I the field of archaeology, if them control it. So if give themselves legitimacy, we can see them and insert themselves in the Merneptah stele. But this are just I and I speculation still. It's not factual. It's just I and I pre them and just I observing them throughout history and them despicable and immoral nature. There's nothing outside of them and forgive themselves, especially we know the Canaan, the Palestinian and the Israelis, them are go to war now. We can't see them all do that now, forgive themselves legitimacy and ownership of the land via them God promise it to them. But anyway, these are black people land. And at them make we know say Canaan black because them identify Am and the descendants of Am is identifiable to the black spaces, Mitzrayim, Egypt, Kush, Sudan, Nubia, Ethiopia, and so forth, so forth. And put a Libya, Northern Africa. So you see them come out of the Caucasus Mountain and them start wage war coming and now them are go back and forth now. So and the Egyptian them now start defend them sovereignty and them overlordship in a Canaan. So them start war them. And this is how you hear about Merneptah, you hear about Ramesses the second, Ramesses the third, and it come all the way down till eventually in the time frame now where you come down to the Assyrians, the Persians, Babylonians, all of them are the set of people them, but them in the land for thousands of years now and them take on different identities. But at them same one and then now in the Bronze Age collapse now wherein you have them identify some people, name sea people, different group of them now, you know. And them come in now on boats. Some of them come from boats and some of them come across the Caucasus Mountain, destroy the Hittites them, wipe out the Hittites them, and it's a new group of them now are coming. And when them are coming, them come in them boat and them family. But so them they did it long before as the mesh where the pesha leg and all these different the Egyptians them identify them as the Shashu is all of them with the Asiatics them. And the war are go on and the ebb and flow, and at this now where historically you hear Egyptian and the Assyrians them. Because the Assyrians them are the first one now, historically now, to smash out Egypt, conquer Egypt. And then behind the Assyrians them come the Persians. And behind the Persians them come the Greek. And behind the Greek them come the Romans. And behind the Romans them you come the Arabs them again. Ishmael, Shem, Abraham. You see me I say them eventually conquer the Middle East, and this is how the dynamics of the Middle East change. But from black to white or brown skin. But it's a mixed multitude. But nonetheless, the leadership becomes white. And now the leadership become white because the principle the do not breed, them breed amongst themselves. Identifiable with Abraham do. And them continue with that said mindset. Them not interbreed, them stay amongst themselves, which can be seen today. Them how the Jews them operate. Them keep it amongst themselves. And the same interbred is continued up in the hierarchy where we call the elite, the powerful family interbreed amongst themselves. The powerful and the monarchies, them in the European monarchies. So these are the things, these is what I identify. And eventually, it took them thousands of years, but eventually them conquer. And then you have the last historical strong identify as black Egyptian now because so much different conquests. It's a mixed multitude and the dynamics of Egypt change. And the scholar scheme of Egypt start change from black to brown skin to white. There's so many different conquerors that came. And the people them from the upper, from the south, from Ethiopia, the last stand, them have with Taraka in the 25th dynasty, where these white archaeologists, them can't deny that. Them can't deny these, but so them want to like them separate from Africa. But the Nubians, them, the black pharaohs, the whole of that space there was black. But eventually from, if you check from Noah time all the way to the time, to present time, are over 6,000 years. And it took them approximately 6,000 years to change the whole color dynamics. From the Near East all the way through to Egypt, right across the Mediterranean area. The last strong black defense of the Mediterranean, Hannibal the Great, Carthage, where him did a war with the Roman them until Cyprus Afrikaner defeat him. And him named Cyprus, but him take on the name Afrikaner as being the conqueror of Africa. And out of that, now them call eventually the whole of the continent becomes Africa. Or some will say it comes from Leo Africanus. And this is why I know, I upon this space, I declare Ankh Nation. I rename and take I own identity. I call it Ankh Nation. The reason I call it Ankh Nation is to identify we. I name I self. It's not them a name I. So Ankh Nation mean Ankh is a symbol of life, and I is the people who give life to nations. All of them. I is a civilizers. I build civilization throughout the earth. Come from I, the Ankh Nation people, the Ankh Nation family. And hence, this is why I declare that. It was slow, and it come all the way when the Muslim them now, because the Muslim are the last. The Muslim and the Europeans them said northern aggressive recessive people. It took them thousands of years, but the Europe is an offset of them same way. That is why my Grand Sea is collapsed and now them come in on boats. That's why I call them proto-Vikings. Not the Vikings in the 9th century CE. Long before that. I mean, I even go in the Visigoths and the Vandals and these Germanic tribes. Later on, we start coming from Germany and come down now and start eventually destroy the Roman Empire. It's a new breed of these northern aggressive white people, but of them same one. Same barbaric, same aggressive, destructive, up to this very time. And it come to pass now, when Noah word come to pass, and Noah declares, say, Canaan or Ham must be a slave to Shem and Japheth. And then biblically them say Japheth represent the white people and Shem is the Semites them. And it come to pass where these people eventually conquer us and enslave I and I from them time to now. And this is why I declare Rastafari, because Rastafari is the only unconquerable nation, Ethiopia. And this is from we are the same. We are talking about Amenhotep the third. We are talking about Thutmose the third. When you talk about Merneptah, when you talk about Ramesses the third. When you talk about Taraka, when you talk about Hamos, when you talk about Senkenir, when you talk about Kamos, I and I, the resistors, all the way up to the King, His Majesty, resisting the said Italians them, and Menelik the second again, resisting the Italians them again, and the different European nations. Ethiopia stand indomitable, because this is where I and I origins, and I refuse to allow that space to conquer. And this is out of that I and I Rastafari within the diaspora and declare Rastafari extol the king. Connecting I and I back to I and I agency with the principle of resistance. Because now is the time to resist and survive. It's no time about no one love. Because our love, our myotic principle have got us nowhere but for us to be conquered. And the gateway open for I and I, the continent becomes conquered, is the Egyptians, them, out of the myotic principle. Nothing is wrong with the myotic principle, it's a good principle, but nonetheless, you cannot apply that to these northern aggressive, recessive people, these barbaric people. Because them not deal with love. Love is a weapon for them, but them use it against you, forget what them want from you. And as you can see throughout history, this is what them do. Joseph, look on them. Him come in as a slave and the Egyptian them embrace him, and what him eventually do? Enslave them through them belly economics. Belly politics, as I and I call it. And him enslave them. Look on Moses. Them rescue him in a reed basket, and what him eventually do? Rise up against the Egyptian them and wage war against them. And it goes on and on. Same thing with His Majesty and them, the Ethiopians them. Take on early Muslim them. But them call it the first Hijra. When the Quraysh tribe murder them off and them run going to Ethiopia for sanctuary. Ethiopia, the most noble and just of all the lands. Them run go up in there and them indeed them give them sanctuary and them turn around. And what them do now start wage war and them that mindset. The Ethiopians them start penetrate, them infiltrate with Islam, and eventually them want to dominate the place. This is how them operate, and this is how the war with the northern Ethiopians them now we take on Islam. Foreign ideology. And the same foreign ideology now from a different angle now. Some northern aggressive recessive people them come through what them call the Russian them with the communism and overthrow the king government. Communism, same Western mindset, northern aggressive recessive psychology. These are the things. Islam are the same thing. Them come, we give them aid, and eventually them turn and become conquerors. History not change, them not change. For 6,000 years ago, the said principle them use against I and I continually, and I and I still a fall fit. And this is why I and I is Rastafari, and I declare say, Rastafari, I and I own. I don't want to come try use now. We're not trying now use Bob Marley now to make it be oneness in diversity and one love. And no, out of Rastafari was birth out of oppression and domination, white oppression and domination. And I refuse the resistors. I resistors, all of the resistors them. I conflict them and take down that principle for I and I. Because a long time we resist them. And the longer time we become, when we unify, you get the Ramesses them. When you unify, you get the Tutmos the third. When you unify, you get Amos. When you unify, you get Merneptah. When you unify, you get Taraka. These are known strong resistors who defeat the northern aggressive people. Whether they may come by the name Assyrian, Persian, Babylonians, Turks, Ottoman, wherever they name Romans, Greeks, Europeans, France, Germany, England, Italy, are them same one. Different names, but are them same one. Northern, aggressive, recessive people. And it not change from them time to now. And when I and I go wake up and realize, and this is what Rastafari come. No, I articulate Rastafari and I show you the Rasta foundation of Rastafari is resistance. And I have to resist and continue resistance. It took them thousands of years to get where they are today. It took us a time, but I and I first have to get the mindset, and this is where you show me tell you the Bible. This. I tell you this are the principle of conquest, blueprint of conquest. Let me give you an example. This is what Moses did when he in the wilderness. when them tell Joshua and the one of them from murder the Egyptian psychology, you have to have one mindset. It's magic to come and show I and I. So I and I don't need weapon. I and I have to be smart, always strategic and intelligent. And this is what Rastafari have to do. Because we control no weapons. And these people is barbaric enough. And them now go play. You can't go into war unless you know your enemy. And right now, as it stands, we don't know who our enemy is. Because we want beliefs and one love. That's not going to help us. Thousands of years. We gave them love. We are the people who give love to the world. Just like how we are the people who civilize the earth. We are the first people with a high moral standing. And where it get us? We come conquered. So now a survival time. Why the northern aggressive recessive people, them operate in a survival mode all the time. Because if they allow everything to be normal, they will biologically get breed out of existence. And this is why Abraham maintain and ball out to do not breed with the Canaanites, because him see where they are going in Aran, wherein them could not survive. So him now observing what was going on and develop strategies to protect them. And this is why the interbreeding. And this is why up to today, the modern elite families interbreed amongst themselves. The monarchies in Europe breed amongst themselves. And this is why Harry and Meghan get run out of England, because him go outside of the seat of power. Him go bring in a black skin. But nonetheless, later on, them are going to draw back, because them are eventually, those kids are going to inbreed back within the Europeans, them, the white, and maintain. But the black woman give them biological longevity, reinfuse them. And this is why from time to time, them not have no problem with the black woman throwing milk in a coffee. And if you keep putting milk in a coffee, the coffee must get dilute. Them not have no problem with that. Them have a problem with the black man, because you mean continued generation. And you are the lifeline. This is why them do everything that them do for exterminate you, I and I. So you have to learn these things. And when I and I come on this space and I articulate and I show certain things, this is not about where ones and when to run probably want to put all a label on I and I talk about race. Now this is not about racism, this is about survival. And I and I have reached from historical observation, using them biblical stories, and I strip it down and I show you exactly what is going on. This is why I and I is on this space to articulate Rastafari and tell us Rastafari here. It was birthed out of what? Oppression and domination. The diabolical enterprise called the transatlantic slave that brought captives and turned captives into slaves. And I who's the resistors. When I say them brought captives and turned captives into slaves. And the resistors is I. Then them label them maroon. And out of that come Marcus Garvey, and out of that come I, the resistors. Nanny, one the Sierras. Queen Kaina a fight against the Muslim them before them dominating in the 7th century. And Nzinga in the Congo. Resistors. Malcolm X, resistors. Martin Luther King, resistors. Marcus Garvey, resistors. UP Newton, resistors. Nat Turner, resistors. And the list goes on and on. From Africa to the Caribbean to the diaspora. Where they want to go, Mexico. Zanga, I don't even remember his name right now. Zanga Zumi, Ganga. Let me leave that alone. But even in Mexico, the resistors continue. So we're going to seal it up on that, And hopefully this presentation to the ones and ones them will give you clarity and you can see what is I and I purpose. And when I and I come on this space and I articulate Rastafari and I show the viability of Rastafari, We have to revisit and reclaim I and I identity. And I and I have I and I identity, which is Rastafari. And I and I have our greatest extolment is Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, the greatest, the unconquerable Lion of Judah. If you want to attach yourself to the biblical bloodline, which still I and I said speed. That is a whole nother story unto itself. But we're going to visit that one day. We're going to look into that story there too. You see where I come from? But nonetheless, until such time, Rastafari is Caribbean African unity. Jah Rastafari without apology. Sealer.